The radiographic guide, or scan appliance, is a key component in the collection of data used in digital treatment planning implant cases and in the fabrication of surgical guides. When taking a cone beam computed tomography scan of a patient, the radiographic guide conveys the ideal prosthetic positioning of the teeth for the final restoration. For fully edentulous cases, the process of creating a scan appliance begins with the fabrication of an ideal definitive removable prosthesis that meets the patient's functional and aesthetic needs. Once an acceptable removable prosthesis is fabricated, it can be duplicated to create a radiographic guide. The basic protocol for duplicating a denture to create a radiographic guide begins by making an impression of the removable prosthesis outside the patient's mouth. Only a few basic supplies are needed, including a denture duplicator flask or other duplicating device, Vaseline, and impression material. First, one side of the denture duplicating device is completely filled with impression material. The denture is placed into the material until it is 3/4 submerged, with care taken to ensure that the intaglio surface of the prosthesis remains exposed. Once the impression material has set, a scalpel or knife is used to cut away the excess material around the edge of the denture so the surface is flush with the top of the container. Then, a third layer of Vaseline is spread along the flat surface surrounding the denture. After filling the other side of the denture duplicating device, impression material is applied onto the intaglio surface of the denture until the interior of the denture is full, and then onto the outer rim of the prosthesis that is still exposed. It is important to apply enough material to extend well above the top of the container. The device is then snapped shut and the impression material is allowed to set. After unsnapping and separating the two sides of the denture duplicating device, the denture is retrieved. The clinician then has the choice of fabricating the radiographic guide in office or sending the impression of the denture to the lab for fabrication of the scan appliance. To fabricate the radiographic guide in office, the clinician needs clear acrylic and gutta percha material, along with a heating element and a dental pressure pot. With the denture duplicating device open, a mixture of clear acrylic based on manufacturer specifications is flowed into the impression of the patient's prosthesis. Care must be taken to completely fill both sides of the impression while avoiding the introduction of bubbles into the acrylic as it is flowed into the space. The device is then snapped shut and the material is allowed to set. After removing the radiographic guide, any excess acrylic is removed with an acrylic burr and slow-speed handpiece until the original shape of the denture has been achieved and the scan appliance is polished. In order for the newly fabricated denture replica to be seen radiographically, markers must be added to the device using an opaque material such as gutta percha. A minimum of 6 holes should be placed at different locations and different heights. Using a slow-speed handpiece and 1 mm round burr, holes are drilled into the guide approximately 1 mm deep. Gutta percha is warmed and packed into the holes until they are full, and excess gutta percha material is scraped away, completing fabrication of the radiographic guide. Whether prepared in office or sent to a dental laboratory for fabrication, the resulting scan appliance functions as an invaluable resource in digital treatment planning the proper prosthetic and surgical parameters for the case. The precise virtual representation of the ideal prosthetic positioning of the teeth provided by the radiographic guide during the CT or CBCT scans will go a long way towards ensuring a functional and aesthetic final restoration.